Just to continue, so far we have discussed on the C-section charts, the chart on the cesarean C-section, and the muhurta that Guruji has given to them. And we also, Ricardo was there yesterday, discussed about how the doctor went into monastery, again came back, and how that process happened through that, and we saw that in the chart. So we also saw the medical issues, right? The nerve issue and all those things, in the neck, and how that could be seen in the chart. So we also discussed on the profession and also the marriage of a person, and how could we see that in the chart as well. Of course, we shared a little bit, even though it was a little bit out of topic, but we shared a little bit on the India, country India, and how the changes are happening and what we should do and everything. We discussed on that. So Guruji, I wanted to, the chart that you shared with me about this it's very interesting chart that I wanted to share about death itself, the whole process of how this happened. Just to give a history on this chart, this is a young 25-year-old boy who died, who was 17 years, he was in coma for 17 years. So at the age of 8, he went into coma, and for 17 years he was in coma, and then at age of 21. Naturally, when this happens, the fear of the parents comes, and the parents go to astrologers to find out what's going on and what's happening. So these parents also went to about 3 astrologers. 2 of them said that he's going to die at a particular time, and one of them said that miraculously he's going to come back to life. And there is also another retired judge who predicted that my wife, that judge's wife, after 19 years, she came back out of coma from this. So he said, oh, any miracle can happen. So this was the situation of the parents, and that is when Guruji, they came to you seeking for guidance. Before I go into the question about this whole process, Guruji, just to share about how the transit afflictions has caused the brain hemorrhage for the person, and also of the Sun and the Venus, the 12th Lord Venus, and afflicting exactly with the Sun, and also the Navamsha chart. Would this also created this whole process of the brain hemorrhage for this child, Guruji?
Okay, very good question. First of all, in the Rasi chart, which is the mood of the divine,
yes,
at the time and place of birth, you see that the most malefic planet is creating an exact affliction to the Sun. Now the Sun is the significator of the first house. It is the significator of the head.
General significator.
General significator of the head.
Yes.
And significator also, because it's the 10th Lord, it's a significator of motion and ability to walk and do things in life.
Yes,
10th house.
Motion.
Motion.
Yes.
Now Mars is also a significator of the first house, because Mars is the lord of Kalapurusha's head. So Mars becomes the significator of the first house also for all the lagnas.
Yes.
Now here Mars is the ascendant lord, that's the key thing. But unfortunately Mars is ruling the 6th house. So Mars is creating a close affliction.
Yes.
And the moon is blessing, but the moon is in extraordinary old age. So practically bereft of any power, it's in extraordinary old age. And the ascendant MEP is a classical example of GaNDAntha.
Yes.
So very close to the Sandhi between Scorpio and Sagittarius.
Yes,
and so the affliction of Mars to the ascendant is a necessary, it creates a necessary condition that there can be accidents in life for this boy. And the head can be injured, because first house is head also.
Yes,
so first house is afflicted, then Sun is afflicted. So already in the mood of the divine at the time and place of birth, there are 2 necessary conditions for something going wrong with the head, ascendant house and Sun.
Yes.
Now when you go to the Navamsha chart, the Navamsha chart is profoundly unfortunate, because I have gone on reiterating a certain sutra, that when any divisional chart is blessed by Jupiter and Jupiter blesses the ascendant house, the sun and the moon, then in that department of life there will be abundance of divine grace. The Jyotish Sutra. And when the ascendant and the sun and the moon are afflicted by the most malefic planet, then there will be Himalayan misfortune.
On top of it, the ascendant is in the Pisces. It's in the Pisces.
Therefore, the affliction is even more grievous. And even the affliction, so far as the affliction to moon is concerned, Virgo is another zodiacal sign where every affliction is magnified and intensified. Therefore, the affliction to the moon is magnified and intensified, affliction to the sun is magnified and intensified, affliction to the ascendant house magnified and intensified. So the person is unfortunate. But let us take the life of that boy. He was an extremely interesting boy. Premaji knows that boy.
Yes, sir.
And very interesting, and because he has got a strong Jupiter, he will bring 10 friends home and ask his mother to feed everybody. Very full of life he is.
His mother is a doctor.
Mother is a doctor. Premaji's colleague.
My good friend.
Okay.
So, a very interesting boy. So, if the boy is running his 7th year, then a good astrologer who is looking at the Navamsha chart, he will know that the wrath of God is going to descend on him.
So I have a question here, Guruji.
But life is going well when he was 7,
Yes,
till the last day.
But if the parents knew the chart, studied the chart, or an astrologer, a good astrologer really identified this at a younger age, because right now the child went into coma at the age of 8, but let us say even before that, we all naturally as a tradition, we study the charts of the children. So if they would have caught this before, would it have been avoidable, the death? Because now we are saying Sankalpa is the most important thing. We are saying even though all these afflictions are there and all these things are there, but if the Sankalpa is the most important thing, can we would that have been avoided through remedial measures, through strong Sankalpa, very sincere devotion, with the complete understanding?
Hard to say. Because when I showed the chart to Professor Chowdhury at one of the international conferences, he said, I don't see this child surviving, his impression. So because the afflictions are too grievous, the affliction to the sun is exact.
Yes, Guru.
It's not even a close affliction. And to make matters worse, it's an affliction in the sign Pisces, where every affliction is intensified, magnified. Again, there's an affliction pieces to the sun. So,
and Mars is afflicting the ascendant.
Mars is afflicting the ascendant house. So it's a very difficult affliction. If they had come on the path of remedial measures, then it might have taken a slightly less disastrous turn, the whole life course. Maybe instead of being coma in 17 years, he may have been in coma for a lesser period.
But nonetheless,
because too severe a blow, the mood of the divine at the time, hence the criticality of the mood of the divine at the time and place of birth, the criticality, because what promise does it hold? Does it hold the promise of the blessing of the divine, or does it hold the potentiality of the wrath of the divine? What is that seed actually?
Yes, Guruji.
So any good astrologer will be able to know that tremendous misfortune is on the cards of fate.
So because of this intense affliction, if it were a little bit less affliction, probably would have been different.
And the day he fell down in the bathroom, there's a peculiar transit affliction.
He didn't fall down. He didn't have an injury. He went to the bathroom and he just collapsed. He just collapsed. He pulled to hold on to something, he just pulled the curtain and just collapsed in the bathroom. And his sister was going for the exam. She said, Amma, he's in the bathroom for such a long time. Why is he not coming out? And he hadn't shut the door, So when they went there, they just find the child has just collapsed. I think he has, finished his job and he's getting up. I think he just collapsed. And that's it. And so next thing is she just rushed him to Child's Trust where we were all working. And so this is not a head injury in the terms of an injury. You know, when normally we think of a traffic
Something happened
accident
Internally. I'll
so
explain what
she would have never thought about this injury at all. This kind of this is called a transient vascular accident.
Okay.
You know, it's something which happens, which you are not you would have no clue. You and I look very nice with all our fine clothes and everything, but what is inside?
So this is fate.
Yeah. And she took him to she brought him to the hospital, and we were all duty doctors. We were very shocked to see this child there. He was totally gone. He was just there like that, and then they had to rush him. They rushed him for a CT scan, and in the CT scan, when they did the thing, they were so shocked because they found that he had bled so much into the head. You know, it's like a cauliflower. If you have a cauliflower, suppose you have a cauliflower, and I just pour a pot of ink on the cauliflower.
Right.
The ink will go through all the little flowerets.
Convolutions.
Okay. So what is the neurosurgeon to do with this? You know, and how did it happen? So this is a thing which is a typical case study for a neurosurgeon, and they had to take up the surgery, and they have to use such fine microscopic sucking apparatus to take out the blood, and you have to be so careful because you're sucking it out from in between
the brain convolutions,
all the brain tissue. Yes. So you have to make sure you don't suck out some part of the brain tissue too. Right. You know, because every part of the brain is so specialized, has got a special thing for for the whole thing.
Right.
So it took 8.5 hours, the surgery. And there's no guarantee that he was going to live.
Right.
And in fact, I questioned, because another friend of mine was the surgeon.
Right.
I said, how did you even think of doing a surgery for this boy?
Right.
It is so difficult. It's not like having an injury here
Where
and
would
have
you
a big
begin?
lake of
Where
blood,
would
then
begin?
you can just aspirate it out. It's not like that.
Right.
He said, what can I do? And the mother is so insistent. She says, no, you do something. So that was it. That's the last she saw of Aditya, and that's it. The story went on. He went through so many years of being like this till the age of 25. He finally died.
Yes.
25. When he was 25.
Yes, Guruji.
So the transit, what happened was Mars, which is the sign lord and the significator of the head, and the ascendant lord, was traveling in the third house exalted. And Venus, the most malefic planet, was traveling with Mars. Now you meet these things very often in Jyotish, that you have traveling afflictions. That is, you have a malefic lord, you have benefic lord, and the two will travel together, which means the affliction is prolonged.
Yes, yes.
Okay, because this transit thing will be prolonged.
So here the 6th lord and the 12th lord are together.
First lord and the most malefic planet.
Right, but Mars is a 6th lord here.
Yeah, 6th lord, yeah. 6th, but it's a sign lord.
Sign lord.
So signifies the head also.
Yes, yes.
So, so the affliction is traveling, and that is the transit significant event which triggered the thing.
Because there was no reason, there was nothing to show.
So see, life is chaos. Without astrological knowledge throwing light on it, that in every nook and corner of life, either the wrath of the divine is interceding, or the blessing of the divine is interceding. Either this or either that. Every nook and corner of life, the divine is there. Either as Brahma or as Vishnu or as Maheshwara. So Shiva the destroyer, I mean.
Yes.
Either as Brahma or as Vishnu or as Shiva, the divine is there, present. Okay, that's life.
So as I was looking at this chart, Guruji, and studying the chart a little bit, one thought came to me, so true, that Krishnamurti, Krishnaji was the truth of him. It says, live every moment
Exactly.
as if it's the last day of your life.
Exactly.
Because this one, there's no sign of anything.
No sign. That is, if you meet the boy when he was 7.5 years old, or 1 week before this attack actually got him, then you will say, oh my God, what a lovely boy.
He was a boy who was good in academics, in sports.
In sports,
a very
everything.
extrovert child. Everybody would be wanting.
I love the boy.
That child. He's one of those very popular children. You know, like everybody.
So important to see how life is so precious.
That is very precious. And life is uncertain.
Uncertain.
Life is uncertain. So that's the beginning. But the Navamsha chart is the most a frightening thing.
Yes, Guruji.
And so you see a most punishing affliction, and which with no relief at all, because it is happening in pieces, it's happening in thing, and the doer is the extreme wrath of the divine coming through the most malefic planet. So it's very, very severe thing. So that's why an astrologer, when he sees this, he will immediately know that great misfortune is in the womb of time. And probably in the Venus sub-period, it will come to fruition.
Do you have the transit of the date it happened? I think sometime in November.
In my older records, now I don't have. But I remember
in November.
Mars Venus.
And also the D6 chart, and along with the Ashtamsha.
Look at the D6. Look at the misfortune of the D6.
Also
Same
happening
Venus,
in pieces.
Same Venus from the beginning. RC, D9, D6.
So this Venus is Kali.
Yes.
Now this is how you understand that the Divine Mother can either be benevolent in your life, or the Divine Mother can also be malevolent. Now when the Divine Mother is benevolent in your life, she is Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati and Parvati. But when she is malefic, she is Kali, the wrathful form of the Divine Mother. So this Venus, for example, Venus is, Vedic astrologers know that it's the malefic planet Venus, but a good Vedic astrologer will know that this is the energy of the Divine Mother, Kali. And Kali is, Kali actually will devour you. She's got all the skulls on her head, right? And it's not that she's going to actually kill you, but she will kill the ego to give you moksha.
Yes, Guruji.
Okay, on the higher, that's the higher meaning of the Kali energy. And because Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was worshipping Kali, and he was doing Kali Upasana,
Yes, Guruji.
and he is Kali Upasak. And so this is a relentless affliction, the Shashtamsha. So you know that so far as health is concerned, a very huge misfortune is dangling like a sword on the boy's head. And anytime it will drop.
Yes, Guruji.
And so, but a good astrologer will also hesitate to tell this to the parents. And because the parents, or anybody else for that matter, never want to face reality. The reality is death is around the corner. That's the reality. And nobody wants to face this. Krishnamurti said all through his life he lived with death. Adi Shankara, if you see the film, GVA's film on Adi Shankara has got two companions in that film. So the companions are made in anthropomorphic form. Aham Prajnana Sharma, Aham Mrityuho. So I am death and I am wisdom. So they are with Adi Shankara throughout from childhood till his Mahanirvana. Most magnificent film it is. So always being with death. And Krishnamurti says life is not different from death. So you cannot have one without the other.
Yes,
and this is for 17 years the parents had to have this agony. And look at the Ashtamsha chart.
Ashtamsha.
Look at Saturn, the most malefic planet here, and afflicting the ascendant house and ascendant lord. And Jupiter and Saturn again getting at the sun, and Jupiter and Venus, Saturn.
And in the Pisces sign.
In the Pisces sign again. So look at that. So here the most malefic planet is afflicting the ascendant house, the ascendant lord and the sun, all three. So that sutra will pertain, that all grace will evacuate from that field of life, from the field of Ashtamsha, from the field of Shashtamsha.
So as a common man generally has this question, if a child has to, because the child's life has not started yet, it's only 8 years old when the child went into coma, and there are many children at a very, very young age, even in the womb, even when they are just born 1 month and 1 year or something like that, they are dying. So what is the purpose for it? What is the reason for it? Why should such children be born just for them to die? And what is the purpose for that? How do we answer this kind of question, Guruji?
This is very simple, because the entire thing, the life drama, is not the handiwork of an individual, it's the handiwork of the divine, the inscrutable divine, the incomprehensible divine. Okay. Anitya, I mean, it is anantam achintyam. That is, it is anantam, it is infinite, this force.
Yes, yes.
And it is achintyam. You cannot think about it and you understand it. No, you can't.
It feels heartless.
You can say that, some people say that. But he's also got another name, the All Merciful, Karunakara. His another name
Not
is
in this kind
Karunakara.
of cases.
I know.
Yeah, here is Shiva, the destroyer.
Here is Shiva the
Yeah.
destroyer.
Somewhere else is Vishnu, the protector, and somewhere else is Brahma, is creating new forms of life.
So the only thing we can say is we just have to accept it as it comes.
You must have the wisdom to do that.
Wisdom to do that.
And so you can see the repetition of that pattern from Rasi chart to Shashtamsha chart to Ashtamsha chart to Navamsha chart. So it's all round, the wrath of God is all pervasive.
Yes.
So it's pervaded into every nook and corner of the life of that individual. So the mood of the divine is like that.
Mood of the divine.
The seminal mood of the divine.
Kali, full of Kali.
Kali. So Kali.
So I kept plaguing him with questions saying, no, will he make it? Will he survive? You know, like
Yes,
it's,
yes,
you know, it's
yes,
a close, my
anybody.
close friend's son.
Anybody want that?
And he was very clear and he said no. Then, okay, I digest that part of it. I said, okay, when?
Very difficult to digest, first of all.
No, I mean, you know, it's yes. And when I asked when, Shankar had actually presented this case at a conference, at the international conference with Professor Chowdhury.
Yes, correct.
And at that point, there was a lot of discussion about it, because the entire lot of panelists and participants are all astrologers. So
Yes.
there was a lot of discussion on this particular chart.
Yes.
So there was no way, nobody gave me an answer as to when. Okay?
Right.
And who would think the when was going to be 17 years later?
Right.
They did any number of pariharas, any number. Okay? And every time I saw this boy, the child was a small child when he was 7. But when he was growing up, he grew up to be he was growing up nice and tall, in spite of the fact that he was in a coma. He started having a mustache. You know, all these signs were going on.
Because he's in bed.
And he's in
the
bed.
wheelchair.
And my friend moved her clinic and had her clinic in the same building downstairs so that she's available.
Yes.
But 17 years they were, and the parents just didn't give up. They just went on and on. And at times, you know, you're looking at it as an outsider, you feel very bad, you know. So you're in a very confused state because
because I knew the prognosis from astrology.
Yes, sir.
I actually told that doctor, Premaji's friend, that you should actually pray for this little boy for his life to come to an end. That is the most sensible form of prayer, because you've got an option of a prayer. What do you pray for? Can he be resuscitated, or should you pray that he should be expedited, the life journey come to an end? I told very clearly that you should pray that whatever prasad you have given, we have seen and we have learned from it. So Bhagavan, please give us the grace by taking him away. But they did not pray for it because they thought it to be a wrong prayer.
Okay.
And but I see that the divineness will be unrelenting in this case.
Yes, correct.
Unrelenting. You're not getting the message. The writing is on the wall.
One of the hardest lessons in life.
Hardest lessons, yeah.
To really confront death
In this chart,
and accept it.
still this, in RC, Jupiter is blessing.
Mm.
And in Ashtamsha also,
Mm.
yeah.
see Jupiter is blessing ASDT Lord,
And Sun
and Moon,
and Venus, yeah, yeah,
everything.
everything. But still,
But
Saturn is stronger than Jupiter. Saturn is stronger than Jupiter because it's the most malefic planet. That's why Professor Chowdhury has given that name. It's very significant. Atikrura Graha, Atikruram.
And it is a 12th Lord.
8th Lord, death-giving Lord.
8th Lord, exactly.
Death-giving Lord. Death-giving Lord. So there's a finality to the whole afflictions,
Yes.
that it's irremediable, as we say. And therefore we must, now the other interesting question will be for us, for all of us, that you see a life drama so poignant and so full of grief.
Yes.
Now will they become mumukshus in life? Because to become a
Very
mumukshu
difficult.
is the greatest blessing. Because once you become actually a mumukshu, you flower into that thing, that you become a seeker of you have the craving of wanting to be, have that union with the divine, and you have understood so much and you are seeking that, then
Natural tendency is to blame God. That's a natural
Initial
tendency.
reaction.
Initial reaction is to blame God,
Blame your fate.
blame your fate.
Blame your karma.
Exactly.
Na karma ra idi.
This is how it is. Yes.
But if they become mumukshus, and then I think the suffering has been well worth it, because they know that it's the divine which is incarnating, not their son, and the divine is incarnating in infinite number of forms. It's living for some time and then it is going away.
Yes.
And behind this passing show is the real divine.
Yes.
Behind this passing show. So that I don't know whether that will happen, but it will be good if that happens. They become mumukshus.
Yes.
And the sutra is there from the scriptures. Durlabham trayamevaitat. Three things are very difficult in life. Manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshrayah. That is, to have a human birth and then to become a mumukshu, actually become a mumukshu. And mahapurusha samshrayah means to have the blessings of a mahatma, as a great guru. These three things are very difficult. That means these three things happen only to a few people. They don't happen to all and sundry. No, that's a scriptural warning. Scripture is saying that. But if they become mumukshus, I think nothing like it, because this is such a huge eye opener. Huge eye opener on the impermanence of life.
Yes.
Because life is fundamentally impermanent.
To accept that is very, very important, because that's the fact of life.
So please watch, every one of you, G.V. Iyer's film on Adi Shankaracharya. It's there on the YouTube and the internet. Adi Shankaracharya. You must watch you must become very calm, and nobody must disturb you, no cell phone calls, nothing, no distraction, and you must get into the movie, because it's one of the greatest movies that India has made. Greatest. It's the life of the master Adi Shankaracharya, and G.V. Iyer, he has done a magnificent job.
It's in Sanskrit with English
The
subtitles.
entire film is in Sanskrit with the English subtitles, and set in Kerala, Shankara's place. And Shankara's Padayatra right up to Himalayas and back. It's, you must know, as an Indian, you got to know this.
It's called Adi Shankara.
Madhuji, I just have one question. If you want. Having that accident at the age of 7.5 or 8 is incident that's happened. To prolong that life for the next 17 years is parents' decision. So why is it so that that particular Atma has to go through so much pain, because the parents decide to probably keep the child alive with the hope that it will come back to life? And does the Atma actually suffer for that entire 17 years, being bound inside this body, not being able to let?
He's in coma, so the knowingness may not be there because he's in coma. But obviously it's a case of life and death. And it's a choice that the parents, we were speaking about, and Dawn was talking yesterday, she gave us Edgar Cayce's sutra, that man has got this immense free will, and he can do whatever he likes with it. So the parents had the choice of either praying that the divine gave a blessing and a prasad, and then saying thank you, and please don't torture this boy, please take him away. So that was one choice, and they didn't make that choice. They made another choice. They said, please bring him back to life. Now that was the sankalpa which was working, the part of the sankalpa which prolonged the agony, because you feel guilty to do the other prayer. You must have tremendous clarity to do the other prayer. A wise man will do the other prayer. Okay, a worldly man will do this prayer. Not understanding the divine will, not having enough faith in astrology, not taking the pains to understand what somebody is saying. Okay, because you're so confused that you can't think clearly. So you just go by your own materialistic convictions. You've got materialistic convictions and materialistic desires, and you go by that. So I made the choice, and it's the thing, and particularly very poignant life drama this is.
What I feel, Guruji, from here, that mercy killing is not allowed, first. and the prayer elongated the life for 17 years. Maybe in Ashtamsha chart that Jupiter blessing, Sun, Moon, ASDT and ASDT Lord, all the things, although it is himself being afflicted, still those blessings may have elongated the life for 10, 17 years.
Possible. We have to see what dasha was running.
It
We have to
was
see.
Because
Rahu
Rahu
Jupiter
Jupiter
dasha.
dasha at the time of
No, the Jupiter dasha.
Jupiter Saturn that time.
No.
think
The
it
Jupiter
was
dasha
91.
started only in 2000.
No, Rahu Jupiter.
2010.
Yeah, Rahu Jupiter dasha is when this happened.
Right.
When the accident happened.
Right,
and
right.
And then the death happened during the Jupiter Saturn
Yeah,
dasha.
Jupiter Saturn.
Jupiter, because Saturn is a
Saturn
master
is
in Ashtamsha chart. He'll kill.
So,
Saturn will kill.
So Mike, I have a question here, Guruji. There is a Rahu Saturn dasha in 1998. Why didn't it happen at that dasha time? Because Saturn was happening at that time also.
In the Ashtamsha chart.
Yes, Guruji. The Rahu Saturn dasha instead of Jupiter Saturn. The blessing of the
This Jupiter actually
blessed to die.
all the things, Sun, Moon, ASDT, Lord, everything it is blessing.
blessing.
No, but it's also afflicted.
Afflicted, no
Yeah,
doubt.
it's
but-
also afflicted.
but it is blessing.
It's afflicted. See, there are independent methods of estimating Ayush, and it is not easy easy to estimate Ayush
Yes, ma'am.
correctly,
Yes,
because Ayush can be prolonged or shortened by Sankalpa.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be prolonged or shortened by Sankalpa.
So probably, definitely, as Premaji was mentioning, that they did lot of remedies and this and that. So all that definitely worked. Probably no, because it prolonged for 17 years for the child, the Ayush.
But I think to reiterate the point that he makes often
Suffer.
is that in spite of doing so many things, his lifespan was 24.
Right.
So that if the affliction is so strong,
Strong.
whatever you
You
do
do.
is not going to bear
It
fruit.
prolonged for
Until
17 years
someday,
probably,
okay.
but can we say that, Guruji?
I've got another thought.
Yes, Guruji.
So what I'm thinking is that since the divine is the master behind the whole show, and I know the family, met them, and this may be the divine's way of speaking through the sun or speaking through the silence of the sun to take the parents onto a higher plane of spiritual development and make them mumukshus. This may be the divine thing, but the divine is giving us so many calls, and the jiva which is engrossed in Maya and engrossed in worldly life may not even know that the divine is calling you, and may not understand that call, and may not respond to that call, and so you may continue to be engrossed. Then the next call will come much later. First call is made and you don't get it, you're not getting it. And then so I asked Premaji one significant question. You think the father and mother of this boy, they have become spiritual as a result of this life experience, and she knows them very well, and I know them much less, she knows them much better.
Yes,
She said, does not look like that.
Okay.
Because you see, there are so many kinds of anandas, so many anchorages in artha and kama.
Yes.
So any one anchorage will give you temporary relief. So you can get hooked onto any anchorage, and then you may not go higher. You may not go higher.
The parents' chart will show that they were also destined to suffer this much.
Of course, of
Yes.
course, of course.
So this sutra on the GaNDAntha from Parashara Hora Shastra, volume 2, chapter 94, shlokas 4 and 5. If you can explain a little bit on this, Guruji.
Okay.
Half gut is 12 minutes and or 3 degrees astride the junction points, sandhis of the signs, Pisces Aries, Cancer Leo, Scorpio Sagittarius, totaling 1 ghati, 24 minutes or 6 degrees, is known as Lagna GaNDAntha.
GaNDAntha, right, right. Now, the significant thing here is, I am constantly reiterating that here, just as you have all the Nobel laureates in the field of modern science, they discover amazing things like energy and matter are same, then quantum mechanics, then molecular biology, genetics, then in vitro fertilization, amazing discoveries, impossible things are happening in the world of science. Similarly, the sages who are divine obsessed and divine connected, they get their own revelations. And here Parashara, in this magnificent classic work which is there called Brihat Parashara Horashastra in Sanskrit, 3500 years ago has given this sutra. Now what is the 3500 years ago? Now in the systems approach, the GaNDAntha sutra is non-existent. Take note of it.
Yes,
Okay. So now the sutra says that as you move around the zodiac, now the zodiac provides 12 different cosmic climates. Each zodiacal sign gives a special cosmic climate. But at the sandhi or the junction of Pisces and Aries, 3 degrees on this side, 3 degrees on that side. So totally it is 6 degrees or 24 minutes. So it's a danger zone. You know, in the road sign they write, they'll draw a skull with 2 bones. Have you seen that?
Yes, yes.
Danger. That means if you go there, they will write it, they'll keep the sign near electrical transformers. You know that? And nowadays I don't see that sign because nobody is afraid of death, I think. Have you seen that sign?
Yes.
A skull and 2 bones.
Now you want to have the sign everywhere.
Okay, skull and 2 bones, this danger zone. So there is that skull sign, death, sign of death, between 27 degrees Pisces and 3 degrees Aries. First danger zone. Second danger zone is
Cancer and Leo.
Cancer and Leo, Aslesha and then Magha.
Okay.
3 degrees in Cancer and 3 degrees in
27 degrees at Cancer and 3
27
degrees.
degrees, right.
And
3
3
degrees
degrees
in
in
Leo.
Leo.
Right. Now 27 degrees in Scorpio and 3 degrees in Sagittarius. Okay. Now of these 3 danger zones on the zodiac, this is cosmic danger. This is
Cosmic.
irremediable cosmic. Okay. The Scorpio GaNDAntha is the most dangerous.
8.
Now Parashara, look at the knowledge of the rishis or the sages. Parashara says Lagna GaNDAntha. Okay. Then Nakshatra GaNDAntha. That is, the moon also can be in extreme Revati or the beginning of Ashwini, which is Pisces and Aries. Then extreme Aslesha, then the beginning of Magha, which is Cancer and Leo. Then extreme Scorpio, which is Jyeshtha, and the beginning of Sagittarius, which is Moola. Okay, they are danger zones.
So 1 degree or 2 degrees Sagittarius is also dangerous.
3 degree, up to 3 degree.
Up to 3 degrees.
Up
is
to 3
dangerous.
degrees.
This child has 28 Scorpio.
Yeah, it's into the dangers
Danger
thing.
zones.
Now, how did they get at these sutras? Now, this whole Vidya, the Jyotir Vidya, the knowledge given by the sages, we should not think that it is 3,500 years old. We should think that maybe it is endless, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, because every time there is a pralaya on planet Earth, the Earth is rejuvenated like you die and you are reborn. Okay, and new civilizations come into existence like that. So there is recycling, like the oceans evaporating, going into clouds and coming back as rain, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And by observing the whole life, you have got to observe whole life from birth till death. And you have got to observe in millions of charts. Then you arrive at this sutra. Okay. Now, okay.
How did this, so many millions of charts at that time?
No.
Just my mind is.
Yeah, right. No, we don't have computers.
Yes.
So how the astrologers used to calculate is, every astrologer used to have 5 or 6 chokras, disciples. Okay. They are very young and very bright, so they will calculate by means of small mathematical aids.
Yes.
Okay. And they will calculate, and they will calculate the MEP, everything. They will calculate. Now they arrived at the sutra. Now what is significant is, it's come as heritage to us. Now, in English there is a proverb, don't give a rose garland to a monkey or something. Throwing pearls to the swine. Yeah, that's the expression. Throwing pearls to the swine. So Vedic astrology for modern people is like throwing pearls to the swine. You don't understand the value and significance of it. That's the most precious knowledge you've got.
Yes.
And there should be, in a modern society, there should be people who are astrologers who conserve this knowledge prevent this knowledge from getting polluted by adding some wrong conditions and things like that, and who will pass on this knowledge to posterity, because this humanity is wealth.
Yes, Guruji.
It's impossible to get this thing. It's like, just think of a situation where all the knowledge of science and technology is lost. Is it a tragedy or is it a good thing?
Tragedy.
It's a tragedy. It's a colossal world tragedy.
Yes.
So like you are saying so many species are going to be extinct, we have got to preserve the species, the Indian tiger in the Gir forest, we have got to preserve that. Similarly, we should preserve astrology from becoming extinct, otherwise it will become extinct.
Yes.
With all your modern wisdom you will kill and bury it. Through your ignorance you will kill it off.
Yes, Guruji.
So these are such profound sutras. So danger zone, 3 points of the zodiac. So the moment you see a GaNDAntha chart, and for example we saw the other chart, now that is also GaNDAntha chart, education.
Yes, education. That's what I was asking.
And because it's got Rahu Ketu affliction, more serious.
That is also the Scorpio in 28.
Very serious.
Usually GaNDAntha we call for
Life.
Huh? No, Lagna GaNDAntha also.
Lagna Gandantha.
Yeah, Parashara is given, he is telling, watch, it's true for Lagna, it's true for the moon.
Nakshatra.
Is this Lagna and
Lagna
Sun also is
GaNDAntha. Huh?
Sun is also in Gandha.
A sun I did not find. I actually went to Parashara's.
Sun is in this chart.
No, it's only Lagna GaNDAntha.
Sun is also Gandha.
Huh?
Sun is also GaNDAntha.
Sun is GaNDAntha. Very good insight.
Yeah,
Very, yeah, sun is
27.
GaNDAntha. Yeah.
27.
Yeah.
And Venus is 28.
Yeah. Moon is also, moon is not GaNDAntha, but extreme old age, but.
29. Yes.
Yeah, extreme old age. Yeah. So
many variables where it cannot be broken.
Yeah, right,
through.
right. Relentless.
Relentless.
Yeah, relentless. No, but the more interesting research question will be, what were the thoughts of the pregnant mother when she conceived this boy? Because this misfortune must already be in the thoughts of the mother, surely.
Sure.
These are research questions. I've got to do a lot more of research, and the government has to do funding of astrological research, and you've got to build up this database for posterity, because this humanity's wealth.
Yes, Guruji. Yeah, just as Ramakrishna ji was mentioning about him saying those words to his granddaughter, in the same manner something might be happening in the womb of the mother.
Must
Yeah.
not be wanting the child to come because of her career at that time. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. What else we can say?
No, but there is something wrong with the
Yes, yes.
something wrong with the thinking of the mother during conception,
Yes.
during pregnancy period.
Yes,
Definitely, definitely. You can, as an astrologer, you can tell straight away.
Yes.
So,
Guruji, so when you're saying this GaNDAntha, it's actually time of birth between these 6 degrees is dangerous, is it? So if a child is born in this 24-minute cycle through the various periods, then you need to be very cautious. Is that
no. See, whole zodiac is 360 degrees, right? Right. Now start with 27 degrees Pisces and 3 degrees Aries. Okay. Put that skull and 2 bones there. That's the danger zone.
Okay, so if the child is born in between these 2 periods, you need to be very careful when you're looking at the chart.
Yeah.
Similarly, between Cancer, Leo, then again Scorpio,
Yeah.
Sagittarius,
Yeah.
both in terms of Lagna and the Nakshatra.
And the moon. Yeah.
Moon.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not mentioned for the sun. Strangely. Okay. But looking at this case, we have got to take note of the sun. Now the beautiful thing about Maharshi Parashara is that he has given the sutra for Lagna GaNDAntha and Nakshatra GaNDAntha, and then he has prescribed the remedial measures the moment you have a GaNDAntha birth. So he is telling you have to do these remedies. Now what great understanding is this?
Compassionate also.
Compassionate, very compassionate. Because good and evil are always mixed together in life. I told you can't separate the 2 things. No, you can't do that.
So the remedy for it is also
Remedies, yeah. So and Parashara's Horashastra in 2 volumes, many chapters are devoted to remedial measures. And amazing. And modern neuroplasticity, like Sandra Moffin and Don were asking, actually confirm that by thinking along new lines and by doing new activities, new neuronal pathways are cut in the brain.
Brain is developed differently.
Brain is developed differently. New connections are made. So there is a sutra in neurology, and that sutra is neurons that fire together, wire together. Neurons that fire together, wire together. That's a sutra. That means that the moment you start thinking, the moment you start Vishnu Sahasranama every day, you start chanting Om Vishnave Namaha. So a new path is being cut in your brain. Let's say you're a bad person, okay, no religion, no God, nothing for you. So then somebody is telling, and willy-nilly you believe that person. He said you chant Vishnu Sahasranama every day. So you memorized it now you start beginning to chant. So what happens is new pathways are cut in your brain. This is modern research.
New wiring is happening.
New wiring, yeah, neuronal networks. So that is how you will be saved, through the remedial measures. And they have to be studied more deeply, and a lot of research in astrology has to be done.
Yes, Guruji.
So that is why there are Western Vedic astrologers, take note of this, there are American Vedic astrologers who are extremely dedicated to their astrological work. The foremost among them is Vamadeva Shastri, Pandit Vamadeva Shastri, who was awarded with Padma Bhushan.
Yes.
This 2016 he was awarded. And
this government is recognizing this field, awarding Padma
no, because
Bhushan to
Madhuji has come into power. So immediately new light on entire Hindu civilization, because so long as the Congress was in power, the Hindu civilization was an untouchable civilization. Okay, they said saffronizing. What are these words? You are insane, man. So now for the first time after Madhuji has become Prime Minister, India is waking up actually. It's like a man waking up from coma. Yeah, we are waking up from that. You are very awake till Mahatma Gandhi got you the freedom struggle. Then 5 years you were awake, then you went into coma. Then now that Madhuji has come, now again you have woken up now. So this is, so Madhuji will probably promote this, and in Delhi, a lot of people know of Pandit Vamadeva Shastri's astrological work, and he deserves it. It's very great work. And James Braha and Robert Soboda and Hart Defoe, they are all doing so much of research, and they know the value of it, but we don't seem to know. And Professor Chowdhury is a very, very rare example of research in Vedic astrology done in India, very profound, revolutionary research.
Yes.
Hundreds and thousands of sutras. Amazing. So we need to conserve his work also. And
So Guruji, I have a question.
right.
So when you said the bija, bija comes from the thought of when you explained this case, right? It would have been the case that his mother is thinking during conception. What we don't know what is that.
Right.
Is that it's kind of taken birth at that point in time, or it's after the physical?
See, I am not saying that it takes birth from one thought. Take all the thoughts of the mother, make a bundle out of it. Okay. Throughout pregnancy, take all the thoughts of the mother. The mother is progressively thinking, first month she has got some thoughts, second month she has got some thought, third month she has got blah blah blah, it goes on. So collect everything, make a bundle out of it, like a bundle of fire would make the whole thing. Now that's the bija, and that will manifest in, that can be predominantly auspicious, that can be predominantly inauspicious. So that will manifest as the chart of your child. So the children of everybody, they are not only born from the bodies of their mothers, they are also the Manasa Putra of their mothers and fathers. Manasa Putras, mind born children, mind born.
So in this 24 minutes window, if the child is born, it's bound to have multiple afflictions?
No, no, no.
Not that way. Okay.
See, you are approaching it from trauma. You are not approaching it, you are not really listening it. I told you there are 3 zones on the zodiac where there is a danger sign.
Yes.
Okay. So now if the ascendant MEP falls in one of the signs, now if it falls in one of the signs, then you got to do some remedial measures. Then there could be misfortunes in life. That is the GaNDAntha thing.
It can be in any aspect
Warning
Of life.
Warning
It need not be only death.
Not necessarily only death.
Okay.
It could be in
Yeah.
profession, and
Yeah.
he could be a big failure there. Or it
Okay.
could be wherever it falls, and depending on the chart.
Okay.
But those are the 3 danger zones.
But GaNDAntha, what's the actual meaning of the word GaNDAntha?
Oh, very good question. See, Gandam means obstacle. Okay. Now, Anta is the limit. Now, this is the farthest limit of one zodiacal sign. Okay. And the Ganda, the obstacle, is connected to that Anta, to the terminal limit. So, they found the extreme last pada of the nakshatra in Scorpio, first pada of the nakshatra in Sagittarius, last pada in Revati, first pada in Aries, last in Aslesha, first in Magha. These are the thing. So, they just found it out. But if you have strong planets, let us say in a chart, and you have GaNDAntha birth chart, either for the moon or for the ascendant, then the GaNDAntha may not wag its tail.
Okay.
Okay. It is when there are other afflictions that you have got to be doubly vigilant.
Okay. Okay. So it's not the ultimate and the only. It's one of the billion of possibilities.
No, you also have to look at the divisional charts, because a GaNDAntha birth chart, it may be redeemed in every divisional chart. Every divisional chart may be Jupiter blessed, then the GaNDAntha is nullified. So you got to, it's a very complex thing. You got to keep exploring and looking at deeper things. Yeah.
Yeah, I was asking, is it like we have Vimshotra Dasha starting from Ketu ending at Madhu? So here every this nakshatra or lagna culminates in Lord is Mercury. So Mercury Lord nakshatra gives you this.
Ketu then Ketu.
Then Ketu.
Magha is Ketu, Mula is Ketu.
Half in Mercury and half in Mars.
Yeah.